Hey, KFS students, find a place where you feel comfortable and we're just going to worship together this morning. The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. Oh, my God will never fail. Oh, my God will never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. There's power in the mighty name of Jesus. Every war he wages, he will win. Oh, I'm not backing down from any giant, 'cause I know how this story ends. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh.
What's up, guys? My name is Tori and I'm on staff at our Montgomeryville campus. And before we get started today, here is your reminder. Today is Mother's Day, and so if you need to go, run downstairs, send a text message, call somebody that you need to say Happy Mother's Day to. You have full permission, pause this video and go do that, and then come back and of course watch. So now that we've got that taken care of, we are on week 3, our final week in our middle school series, in my opinion, and our high school series, Love Hate. And we figured this week, why not for the last week, combine these 2 lessons, make them even bigger and better. And so this week we're talking about opinions. Opinions, it's kind of interesting how we're so quick to make opinions on people, even when we might not know them. We all do it, let's be honest. Maybe it's at school, it's the soccer players are, the rich kids are, or the teachers are, or maybe it's even at church. The middle schoolers are, the high schoolers are, the leaders are. Hold off on that one, just we don't want to know your opinions on that one, but we all probably did it even in our head right now as I'm saying these to you. We fill in the blanks with opinions or assumptions based off a person's maybe reputation or something we know about them. But I think a lot of time these opinions or assumptions, they come from 2 different places. One is maybe our experiences. Maybe they did something to us, maybe they hurt us, maybe they talked bad about us once. Maybe you used to be friends with them. Or maybe it's from our insecurities. I think sometimes we assume or we pass opinions on people based on our insecurities. Maybe you want to be that assumption or opinion that they have. Maybe you want to have that assumption or opinion about yourself. You want people to think that about you. And so we become insecure. And I think that this can get a little dangerous sometimes, and it's not necessarily a good thing, because a lot of times those assumptions or opinions or those fill in the blanks, those things we fill in the blanks with, those words or thoughts, they're not always necessarily kind or good things. And a lot of times I think we even end up hating on somebody. But we're going to look today at what the Bible has to say about that. And there's this really cool story we're going to look at today in John that actually I think is going to help us change the way that we think about others and we make opinions and assumptions about others. There's this group of people listening to Jesus talk. And in this group there's the religious leaders or the Pharisees. And all of a sudden they come forward, they're dragging this woman up, and they interrupt Jesus and they have a question for him. And this is what they say in John 8:4-5. "Teacher," they said to Jesus, "this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say?" And so basically these religious leaders, they come to Jesus, they're dragging this woman to the front, and they caught this woman in adultery. Basically they caught this woman with another man who's not her husband. And they say to Jesus, "What should we do?" And then that time the law said that if you were caught committing adultery that you were to be stoned. And so the religious leaders, they thought they knew what Jesus' answer was going to be. And so they came to him thinking they knew exactly what he was going to say about this woman and what he thought about this woman. But it's interesting what Jesus responds with. It's something I think none of us would expect, and I'm sure they were not expecting. Jesus goes on to say, "The religious leaders kept demanding an answer, so Jesus, he stood up again and said, 'All right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone.' Then he stooped down again and wrote in the dust." He had challenged these religious leaders to actually look inward at themselves instead of looking at her. And aren't we all guilty of that sometimes? We're so easy to have opinions or assumptions or look at others before looking at ourselves. And honestly, a lot of times it's to make us feel better or look better. The religious leaders, they were calling out this woman and they knew that they thought this was going to make them look so much better and they were going to look like really good people. And then Jesus, he goes on to say later, he stands up again and he said to the woman, "Where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you?" "No, Lord," she said. And Jesus said, "Neither do I. Go and sin no more." And so the religious leaders, they had passed judgment on this woman. Based on one poor decision she did, they had passed judgment and they had made assumptions on this woman and who she was based off of this one thing they knew about her. But what does Jesus do? How does he respond? He responds in love. He doesn't take that one assumption or opinion that these Pharisees did and determine her whole life story and who she is, but instead he gives her love and he gives her forgiveness. Jesus proved that there are more to people than assumptions and opinions. That we are worthy of his grace and forgiveness and second chance and love. And because of that, we can extend that same grace and love and forgiveness to others around us. And so what if this was the approach that we took towards people? What if instead of assuming things about people or making opinions about people that kind of determine who they are, we use those opinions and assumptions to determine facts of who they are? What if instead we chose to fill in the blank with love? What if instead we decided that people aren't just our opinions of them? That they are more than our opinions, they are more than our assumptions. But we can fill in those blanks with love. When we do this, when we let love fill in the blank, we will become people that are known for our love for others, just like Jesus intended us to be.